From the pitches before going into round two. And we know that getting access to finance and growth funding is key to success for women entrepreneurs, the topic we spoke about last year as well. But we also know this remains such a huge challenge. So our short panel discussion will address what has been done over the past year when we were here and all around the continent as well as Europe, and also how we can get together to change the situation for better. Can I please ask Melanie Hawken to come back on stage? She will be joined by entrepreneur Chinga Musonda, co-founder Savannah Premium Chocolate from Zambia. She actually pitched last year, so give her a round of applause. And then joining us via Zoom link, the power of hybrid, we have Patrick Lumumba, Group Director, Capacity Development, African Guarantee Fund. And last year he was here in person to see how we do things in The Hague. And this is Vignesh, Subramani, Head, Sales Planning, SME Business, Absa Bank, South Africa. Melanie, it's over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. If you were... Sorry, is that on?
What's on?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
If you were here last year, you will remember that one of the really big, thorny subjects we tackled at Startup Night Africa was actually how women entrepreneurs get access to funding. And at the moment, they are getting such a small percentage of funding on the African continent. So we wanted to come back a year later and actually tell you what has been done in the meantime. And I'm pleased to say a huge amount has been done. And I think we're now going to start to see the rewards actually being felt by the women entrepreneurs in our network and across the continent. So I'm delighted to actually welcome not just Chinga Musonda, who was with us last year, so it's going to be interesting to talk about what happened a year later, who is the founder of Savannah Premium Chocolate in Zambia and also here in the Netherlands, and also two of our really key funding partners across the African continent. So Patrick, Vignesh, Chinga, we just want to have a quick conversation, but really get to the nitty-gritty of what's happened a year down the line that is going to push the dial in the space for women entrepreneurs. So Chinga, can I start with you? When we talked last time, we were all talking about the challenges. We were talking about how tough it is for women entrepreneurs to get access to growth funding. What's happened in your space over the course of a year, and what are you looking for next for your growth path?
Yes, this is.
Yeah, I think it's on.
Okay, so yeah, I think it's been a good year, but still very challenging in a lot of ways. If I look at the funding, we're still looking for funding, and there are two types of funding. The main one that we consider, one is debt. The interest rates continue to be high if you're looking at the local markets. And then for investors, when you look at the local markets, you actually have very few investors, whereas talking to international investors, some say we don't understand the African market, or we don't have someone who's there. So that continues to be a challenge. On the brighter side, which is on the market, so we still continue to push because I'm the co-founder for Savannah Premium Chocolate. Our aim is to really grow the manufacturing process within Africa. So we are in Zambia at the moment, as well as Tanzania, but we're also expanding to Europe. So my sister has actually sent me 3,000 chocolate bars. I have them there, looking for distribution partners. So
right, there's a challenge in the room, people. We said there were going to be some practical ways of getting involved.
Yeah, so that's huge for us, but that took some time to get the right export licenses that we needed. It's also, we had to find a way around the duty tax, which is pretty high if you're actually exporting from Africa, because chocolate is considered a luxury product, which it shouldn't be, because people importing or exporting from the US, it's actually much cheaper for them than for an African who's doing business to export to the Netherlands or to the EU.
Okay. Yes. Good to hear. I mean, that things are growing and that you're actually making inroads into the European market. And I think for everybody that is actually watching online, all of our women entrepreneurs that are tuning in, exporting into Europe is possible. You can do it with the right kind of support. Talk to your fellow women entrepreneurs as well as to your financial institutions about that support. It's a partnership, right? Power of partnership, which turns me onto then our two guests joining us on Zoom. So Patrick, can I start with you first of all? We didn't want to talk about the challenges this time because we know what those are. We actually wanted to talk about the solutions. So Patrick, a lot of positive and game-changing work's been underway at Africa Guarantee Fund and AFAWA over the past year. I'd really like to have your insight as to what's being done to, first of all, build the capacity amongst women entrepreneurs, build the models, build the structures so that they are better prepared to access the funding they need to grow, because now is the time to do it, right? Tell us about the impact that you are now ready to make as an organization and with a network to really impact the lives of our women entrepreneurs trying to get that funding they need.
Hi, thank you so much, Melanie, for the invite. A great event so far, and to the entrepreneurs, congratulations, and stakeholders in the room. Indeed, solutions are being found. It's not doom and gloom. The landscape is changing. Various stakeholders are changing, albeit slowly, but there are changes in terms of policies. We are looking at better policies. We're looking at better legal frameworks, and critically for AGF in partnership with FDB through the AFAWA initiative, we're also putting across solutions. And we realize that, of course, along these financing value chains, there are players, both from the supply end and the demand end. And of course, addressing those particular challenges is critical for this particular value chain to be strong. So from the supply end, which are the financial institutions, mostly work with the banks, we recognize that there are issues that needs to be changed in terms of perception within the financial institutions. Of course, you find that within a bank, for instance, even among some staff, they ask why should there be a specific women value proposition? What's different? After all, they're entrepreneurs. So these are the aspects that gradually we are changing those perception for them to appreciate the uniqueness that women SMEs have, and the need for them to have a standalone product that addresses their needs comprehensively. So we support financial institutions to come up with right products. We train their staff to do appropriate credit appraisal for women SMEs. And also at the demand end, that is the women SMEs, we also appreciate that there's need for them to be prepared in terms of being ready to uptake credit or financial solutions that are being offered. So this is very fundamental for us, and that's the reason also why we intend to partner with the Lionesses of Africa as a BDS provider to address those particular challenges. So indeed, the positive aspects that are there, and we also appreciate the fact that women are strong. They're indeed very, very strong, versatile, and the thing is now is also to position themselves, get to know as much information as possible, because even at the government level, there are solutions. Technology is available. People can be able to Google, align themselves with the different networks, offering different solutions that the women can align with. So these are some of the issues that we are focusing on. But as AGF, tailor-made capacity development to financial institutions and to women SMEs, but also providing our highly, highly discounted guarantees for the likes of Absa Group, who is our partner and coming on board very strongly. Melanie?
Perfect. Thank you, Patrick. And that's actually what we said last time. We wanted to see change happening. We wanted to see some fundamental things changing in the lives of women entrepreneurs. Access to funding doesn't happen on its own. It's got to be a power of partnership to make it happen. And we're now seeing that start seeing that happening as we speak. So thank you, Patrick, for that. Vignesh, we know we need the banks on board. We need the banks to be very women entrepreneur friendly. And as Patrick said, find those products and those services that are tailored to them. So I'd love to hear from you. You've got first-hand experience of working with us, with our network. You work with women entrepreneurs day in, day out. Tell us what the bank is doing right now as part of its really aggressive new strategy to really support the growth of women entrepreneurs and get them the support they need right now.
Melanie, thanks so much. Really good to be back at Startup Night Africa. I want to take this opportunity very quickly just to thank the likes of the Lionesses of Africa, the Africa Guarantee Fund, as well as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in the Netherlands for having us once again as Absa. Really appreciate that. And I want to thank on behalf of our Managing Executive, Ronnie Mbatane, who looks after the SME business at Absa Relationship Banking, really want to thank all of you for having us here today. Congratulations once again. We can't say it enough to all of the lionesses that are pitching today. The first 5 really went on really well, and I want to wish all of them all of the best with regards to their partnership and funding asks this evening. We've been really busy, Melanie. We've been really hard at work. In fact, when I was there last year in the Netherlands with yourselves at Startup Night, we were in the process of gathering our insights, doing a lot of research around women entrepreneurs, what their specific needs are, and we couldn't disclose too much at the time because we were busy doing the work behind the scenes. And then in October last year, we launched She Thrives, which is a women in business proposition specifically tailor-made for women in business, particularly within the South African context. And we had taken that proposition to market in the middle of October. Subsequently to that, about 2 weeks down the line, there was an announcement made from the African Development Bank, announcing the approval of Absa from a funding line point of view, with specific focus on youth SMEs as well as women-owned SMEs, and so that fell quite nicely into place after we had launched the first of its kind proposition. Since then, we've been working very closely with the African Development Bank in doing a few things. One is there's already an access to finance element that we've built into the She Thrives proposition. But through the support of the African Development Bank, we're now curating very specific programs, particularly from a non-financial support point of view as well, that we're busy building into the proposition. So we've been really hard at work doing that. The first version of the proposition, if I can call it that, we went to market in the middle of October last year, as I mentioned. We're continuously, building onto those propositions, enhancing it further and further. In fact, now we have a key focus on access to funding, and one of the elements also is that we believe that you shouldn't have to pay money to get access to funding, and so we're waiving those initiation fees with regards to those lending instruments that we give women entrepreneurs as well. So we're quite excited. We're really we believe we have the right proposition which we've taken to market, and we will build on it. And so this is just some of the ways in which we're availing those benefits to women entrepreneurs. So we've been really hard at work, and we continue to do so. This was a great platform as well for us to come and share some of the work that we've been doing, since we met last year.
Vignesh, thank you. And again, another example of being able to talk about power of partnership. So I kind of want to throw this back to Chinga, because we wanted to see things happening over the last year and change happening. What do you think about what you're hearing right now?
I think it's fantastic. I think the only way we make a change is having dialogue and then taking action around it. From my perspective and looking at the bigger picture of what's happening in Africa, African women run 40% of the SME businesses, but they only get less than 1% of venture capital funding. So if we can't make a difference in this room, then we can't go anywhere. So I'm really happy to see the work that you're doing, but there's so much that banks can do, so much that investors can actually do. Yeah.
And if there's one word of advice you would like to give to our 2 funders in the room right now and to everyone else that is here listening to this, what would it be?
I have a big one. I think usually when we go to investors, or even I think hearing from you talk about the context of South Africa, or sometimes they'll tell me, we're investing in Kenya, but we're not yet in Zambia. How do we expand that to just not look at our little own area where we think we have the specialty? Let's expand it. If women are running businesses and they're successful, why not invest in them? Because they're capable.
So I'm going to toss this up. We have literally 1 minute. Can I have in 30 seconds from each of you your commitment going forward for this year? What do you want to see? I mean, you've set out some big goals. What do you want to see from your side, Patrick?
Of course, African Guarantee Fund, just to respond, we're in 43 countries at the moment and expanding. We are very strongly in Zambia. And we want to onboard as many bank groups as possible so that we're able to cover every corner, including the fragile countries where we are very, very focused on, has been neglected for a while. And as AGF, we want to unlock funding to the tune of $4 billion based on our partnership with FDB AFAWA, and provide as much technical assistance, very targeted technical assistance to prepare women SMEs get into funding. So we are committed to that, be able to grow. And the mantra is more strategic partnerships, more banks, more stakeholders, more investment, and more credit-ready women SMEs, so that they are able to grow and transform the economies in the African countries.
Power of partnership, we heard it again. 20 seconds, Vignesh. What do you want to achieve this year?
Melanie, I'm pleased to announce that since we launched the proposition in the middle of October, we've had literally thousands of women entrepreneurs, reach out to us and sign up for the actual offering, and we want to get to thousands more. But specifically to the ask from in the room is, we are a Pan-African bank, and we have representation in a number of countries. I'm saying, really leverage our support, engage us so that we can put you in touch with, even trade and working capital solution specialists who can sort of create those links into other African countries if you're looking to, go cross-border, because we do have the ability to do that. So that's really our commitment and really our ask to reach out to us and engage us because we have the solutions. Thanks, Melanie, once again. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thanks so much. And it's good to be able to come back and actually say a year later, change happened. Thanks so much. Would you thank everybody that was actually part of the panel? Change in action. Thanks, Ginger.